naturally selfish and want to kill everybody and everything like that. And the fact is, capitalism, like you said, it does emphasize because, greed and all of that stuff, but it also undermines our real human nature, which is flourishing. Most people cannot, fulfill their potential under capitalism. At most, a very small minority who, come from the wealthy classes can do that. What's the Stephen Jay Gould quote? I'm not as interested in like the contours of Einstein's brain than the fact that, people of equal or greater intelligence have lived and died in fields and sweatshops. Something to that effect.
Right.
And that's the thing, like capitalism undermines our human nature. If you work for like 16 hours a day, like on an assembly line or in an office, it's pretty deadening, and you end up just being a beast of burden. And
Right.
Yeah.
you think like those CEOs are like working like as Chris said, like 200 times harder. I mean, come
Hmm.
on. You ever worked in a field? You ever done manual labor or anything like that? That stuff is exhausting.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, this.
Go
Sorry, go
for it.
ahead. Oh, yeah. The like the way people argue about like, well, the capitalist takes the risk, or like this person was a visionary and had the idea, and that's why they're so well paid. And it's like, yeah, you know what? That's great. Like, I'm glad you had the idea. That doesn't mean that like you get to have all the money forever and like a bunch of people have to work for you for like peanuts. Like, it's ridiculous.
Right.
It's like
Right.
it's like you're telling me that like, oh no, but like, being Steve Jobs is important. I'm like, okay, fine. Like, if we want to talk about it that way, good, great. Pay Steve Jobs. Also pay the fucking Apple workers. And if did it proportionally, it would be like
Well,
it would be like a joke how much money everyone would have.
I didn't go farther. Like, we don't need Steve Jobs. The fact is, this idea of like this individual genius,
Oh,
it's the
yeah.
great man of history transferred to
Yeah.
economics.
Yeah.
Right.
The fact is,
Right.
these people are also, when they come up with like, obviously some of them are intelligent, some of have whatever business sense, whatever. But they are also drawing upon the collective social experience of humanity to come up with their
Yeah.
ideas. Their inventions don't get made without laborers. None of that happens.
Right.
And the fact is, like, the
Right.
way they're singled out is like these towering figures of genius and whatever. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Frankly,
And they're
it's like
getting
saying,
more.
like, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps or something. It's like, oh, maybe what? Did your parents maybe let you live in your house rent free or something like that? I'm not knocking that. But I'm
Right.
saying, like, don't make out like there's not a wider social context to this stuff.
Yeah.
And the
I mean,
fact is,
Yeah.
like,
if you
you
want to
know,
thank
Well,
people like the risk takers about that thing you touched, like it's like, well, the bank took a risk, didn't they? Like the people, you have
mhm.
investors. The investors took a like. It's not all on yourself. Like a bank you had to get capital that came from a bank. You wanted to get private
Mhm.
investors. That was the shared risk of it all. It was very
Yeah.
social. That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
so
like
like
even if you are like Steve Jobs tinkering in the garage and like that's how you came up with this brilliant shit. It's like, okay, great, man. But again, it's like, okay, who taught you, how to do any of this, and
right,
who let
yeah,
you live there, and like, let's say he's got parts, he's got like computers and shit. It's like, who built the computers, man? You didn't like,
right.
you weren't like what's it called, a blacksmith, like
Mhm.
banging the fucking iron and like molding the plastic to make the fucking outer shell of the IBM thing. Like, fuck you, man. Like, you took a bunch of shit and put
yeah,
it together and made something new. That's what
people
humans do, but that doesn't mean that you invented the universe.
people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, like they like as children, they got that advantage of being exposed to like very early computers in
Right,
like the
Yeah.
60s
right.
and
They had
70s.
rich parent like Bill
They
Gates'
had, they
parents
had
were
rich
very
parents
well off. Yeah.
who saw like, oh, this computer thing might take off, and completely expose their child to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my question is, so the way this article frames it, typical. So you had to start working at before the Revolutionary War to earn what the average CEO received. Is this a useful metric in describing wages? Like, is it not running it home clear enough that like the wage ratio is like 320 something to one? Like,
Yeah. If you're if no, here's the thing. If you are a 285-year-old worker, please jump on the Zoom right now. We'd like to talk to you because right now you should have as much money as your regular CEO. So if any of you at that bootstrap factory are there, 285 years young, thank you, Cornelius, if you are out there, but we are waiting to hear from you. So
that
please.
shark, that shark that's like 500 years old. is
Yeah,
gonna
the
pop
whale
on.
shark. Yeah, so if you were that whale shark and you're him, what if he's like,
Yeah.
just get a job? You know, I've been here since 1709. You know, when you guys are complaining about not
Yeah,
having
but
health
like,
care.
I know what you mean, Aaron, where it's like, okay, what is this really telling us? Because I think the thing missing from people, I always call it like people keep saying while instead of because. They're like the worker makes this while the CEO gets this. And I'm like, you have to fucking draw the connection because I don't think that it's self-evident to people that like that is being taken from the worker's time and transferred.
Yeah.
Like the people are so scared of a transfer of wealth. And it's like, bro, it's been happening. We're
Right.
trying to correct it.
Right, right. That's the thing about labor unions right now. I mean, labor union are not inherently revolutionary, but it's the beginnings of what we want to see, that the workers take action and fight for a bigger piece of the pie with the goal of taking over the bakery. But like, that because you need to teach the workers how to fight. You need to educate them on how they're getting fucked in this system because there's way too many people out there who like, oh, I'm gonna be Bill Gates someday. And it's like, dude, you work next to me. You make a shit wage and you're 47. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be in the NBA either. Like, there's a time where I think people would just get it that like it's not gonna happen, and this system is fucking you over. The rich are getting richer. You can't afford the rent. They're jacking up the price of groceries. They're jacking up the rent. And like, and the thing is is like they're blaming who is this? Not the billion. They're blaming migrants and trans people like that. Like, the people that pay you a wage are the ones fucking you over. They're the ones who poison your fucking water, make the air that you can't breathe, and like the reason why you can't get decent health care or you're rationing your insulin and people are dying. Like, they're the ones fucking you over. The CEO, this whole report, and they're getting very wealthy from you by fucking you over. So yeah.
I think there's a clip from Simpsons or Bill Gates that just sums it up all perfectly.
There we go. Oh.
Buy 'em out, boys.
Hey, what the hell's going on?
Oh, I didn't get rich by writing a lot of checks.
There you go.
I think
Perfect.
they didn't get rich by writing checks, by paying workers.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. Real
Check
work
this
didn't
out.
do it, dude. Like, do you think a hedge fund manager is doing shit? Come on.
Starbucks CEO Brian Nichols making 6,666 times more than company's typical worker, the largest pay gap in the S&P 500.
Wow. Gee.
So
and they're
his
unionizing.
compensation,
Gee.
his compensation is $98 million compared to the typical Starbucks
What
workers'
the
pay of less than
fuck?
$15,000.
Wait, 98 million. That's
That's crazy.
like in 2025, it takes a lot to surprise me. It really does. There's always something terrible happening every 55 seconds out there, but 98 million
Yeah.
for the CEO. And like, and there's an active union drive. And I want to say congratulations to the Newton workers here in Massachusetts.
Oh, hell
Congratulations
yeah.
on unionizing. They won the
shout out.
unanimous.
Solidarity.
It was 17-0. So you're now part of like
Naturally.
the other 84. So congratulations to the Newton workers out there. Always nice to hear this. Fuck
Oh,
this
that's
Brian
awesome.
Nichol guy too. And like, remember
Yeah.
the last CEO was running for president too. Like, that's what the Democrats put up. What's his name? Schultz. Is it
Howard Schultz. No, he
Howard
floats
Schultz, yeah.
for like 5 minutes. He floated running when it looked like Bernie was going to win. He thought about running.
They're right. The billionaires had to put
against-
one of
against
their own
Bernie.
in there.
He
Right.
fucking
That's the whole
face
thing.
planted so
Oh
hard.
man,
Yeah.
Such
that
a
was so
loser.
funny.
But the fact
Uh,
that a union busting billionaire CEO was allowed to even get, and he got like skipped the line too.
The
of, like, all
Democrats
the
would be
rules.
Yeah.
all on board
Right.
with that.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
and-
Bloomberg. Bloomberg.
Yeah,
this
did
is
it,
right.
too.
Another guy. Oh Jesus. Yeah.
This is surprising too, considering baristas are also, petty bourgeois, blue-haired parasites.
Doug,
Or
your thoughts
who
on
also- we all know.
who also don't produce any surplus labor.
Yeah, they're just they're the stormtroopers of the woke fascist left. I mean, I listen to Haas. I know this.
Right. 3Ks in America too. I always make the
No,
point
no,
of third-
I'm a patriotic socialist.
Oh,
I
no
know
3Ks.
all the verses of the Stars and Stripes, or of the Star Spangled Banner.
Holy God. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go third world Maoist with the 3Ks because I don't. But anyway, who are
Because
taking
again, you're one of these woke fascist leftists.
That's, yeah.
You know, you're against the American heartland and the true proletarian movement embodied in MAGA and Comrade Trump.
That's right. That's right. I'm
You know,
also a
he's like
homophobe.
he's the Kim Jong Un of America. He's the Ceausescu. He's Pol Pot. You know, this has been proven. You know, you got to listen to the chairman on his 3-hour streams. You know, confront the chairman, debate him.
You debate
You know,
every
that's how you
stupid
settle
idea I
everything.
have.
Yeah, please. Do you not like me? Come on my stream. What if like Lenin said, like, hey, Lenin, we don't come on my stream and shut up. You know, like that would just be terror. You know, I think Lenin would handle things much better than Haas. I'm gonna be on the record that I think Lenin's better than Haas.
I can read like
bold stance.
it's I don't know, like I've read too much of their shit and it like
Yep.
it's destroying my mind.
Why we got a comment from the stream. Why do bad things keep happening to patriots? Because of the Starbucks workers. You know,
Yeah,
that's
clearly.
why.
Yeah,
That
thought it was
it's
pretty
in there.
clear.
I
Look,
really hate
you know,
it. But
again, if you listen to our executive chairman, there are these globalist elites, triple parentheses, who are trying to destroy the authentic American working class, who believe in traditional values of family, race, you know, gender roles and everything like that. And it's, you know, the main auxiliary of them are these woke leftists, particularly Starbucks baristas. You know, they're these blue-haired, you know, effeminate art school dropouts who are degenerate,
betas.
and they're infecting the blood of our great country, of our Volk, our people. I'm sorry. I know some of that sounds better in the original German.
We have to secure a future.
all right, you know, there's
Against the
13
baristas.
words I have on Haas's point, but maybe
It's like
I think it's a little too spicy for some of the wokes on this stream right now.
Well,
so,
all I gotta
right.
say about Haas is 1488. So just let's leave it there.
man, it's like Mao is in the room with us right now.
It's the same thing. You know,
Subscribe now for $14.88.
there you go. All right. So CEO pays out of control. And I'm a once I did learn that the CEO is making over Starbucks workers, I'm now gonna change my tune a little bit. Maybe a little inequality. Give them something to work for, because they're just gonna be, wokeists, and I can't have that.
They wouldn't know what to do with the money. They would just spend it on
Just
stuff
spend
like
it on nose
food.
piercings.
And avocado toast and everything, and buying medicine and paying the rent, I guess. But
So that's all well and good. I just can't get over that they keep doubling down on the unproductive labor aspect of Starbucks baristas. Like they literally try to use capital
yep,
to argue against Starbucks baristas. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Whatever,
the
man. Like,
unproductive
we can talk
labor
about that
is-
another time.
they're just idiots. That's all it is.
Yeah,
It's
they're
so
really
hard-
just
yeah.
dumb.
They're just idiots.
It's
That's
so
all
They
it is.
don't
hard not to bring
read-
up the ACP.
Yeah.
But it's so funny.
Yeah.
I
They
know
never-
they really are funny, And the fact is, like,
I'll give
you
them
know,
that. Like at least
Yeah.
they're hilarious.
Yeah, like they fly a North Korean flag at their rally. Like, really, of all the countries, of all the flags,
Well,
of
they're
our
not
like,
going to fly Cuba because, like, they've been infected by the deep state because they
Right.
have that progressive family law.
Oh
It's the
my
Jews destroying traditional values. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the globalists.
yeah, thank you.
I gotta
Please
be
use the correct
careful about that.
terminology. All right, the wokes are gonna strike us here, but like. It's the dumbest shit too. Like, why not like if you could do the Chinese flag or like the Soviet flag? But really, that's no I saw that there. I'm like, God, they're so fucking stupid. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
goal. North Korea is the goal, huh? Oh, okay. That's yeah. That's what we're aiming
it's
for.
it's one thing to like support a place like that where you're like,
I don't want them to be
we
attacked.
should stop
right?
the embargo
We're
and yeah.
right. We don't want them to be attacked, but that's not the point.
Yeah, it's
No.
like if you look at like the history of the Korean War, like the Americans and the South Koreans were like launching
Horrible.
death squads against the left and the South. There were
Right.
border skirmishes, and in fact, like the North Koreans executed like far, far, far fewer than the South Koreans and the Americans.
Yep.
All that said, that is not a very healthy society.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know,
it's not.
we
right.
can understand why.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
They are
It's like, how
technically
could
still
it
at war,
be,
but I'm
Yep.
sorry, you have 3 generations of the same family who've been in charge since before my parents were born, and it's completely militarized. And again, there are material
Right, it's
reasons
not the
for
goal.
that, but it's like
Yep.
when I think of socialism, if I'm thinking of North Korea, there's something wrong with me.
Right.
And again, it's like there's one thing to understand like materially why that happens and exists. Okay. It's
Right.
another thing to say that that's what we want. All the jokes we make about Ceausescu or North Korea or Cambodia, we actually really don't want to mimic that in any way.
Yeah. It's just, like, that's the thing. Like, we don't want them to be attacked. And it's like, and like the Chinese Revolution of 1949, and this is a Trotskyist podcast, and I'm speaking for all of us on this, but the Chinese Revolution of 1949 is one of the greatest events in human history. It defeated capital. By the mid 50s, they abolished capitalism, feudalism, landlordism, liberated women from fucking
Foot
bondage,
binding.
Foot binding, yeah.
from foot binding, and like
Wow.
instituted a planned economy. The CCP in 2025 is the mass bourgeois party. They're not the same party, like that's like things can change over time. North Korea, they did some great things, heroic things, but like, is there worker democracy in North Korea? No, not really, not at all, not that I'm aware of. But is it as bad? Is it an absolute hellhole? I don't think so. I don't think it's not. It's not the worst place, but it's not the best place. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
not, but that's not. No, there
Like we
needs to
should
be a
we
political
should be
revolution.
skeptical of Western propaganda against
Right.
countries like
Yeah.
China and North Korea as well.
Right,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah, it's like I just finished reading in full the Black Book of Communism, which is stupid. And it's like I wouldn't trust anything in that book. They could say water is wet, and I wouldn't believe them. But the
We should
point
do an
is, like,
episode on
once
that.
you wipe away like all the anti-communist propaganda, we still have our criticisms of Stalin and Mao and Kim Il Sung and all these people. And I do think it's important that we have our own point of view that is not reducible to the anti-communist point of view. For one thing, because it's not stupid and made up. It's actually based in, historical science and whatnot.
Yeah, so I think we got that. So yeah, so our so if you want to fight it, folks, join a union, organize a union, go on
Yeah.
strike, fuck up
what's
that
yours.
pay. Yep. Pressure these fucking Democrats to do
Just-
something like
just
taxing the
remember,
wealth,
like,
which they
these-
won't, but if there's a
these-
revolutionary situation, they might.
These billionaires are rich because of your labor. You are poor
Yep.
because they are rich.
Yep.
Right. That,
And-
who
and-
makes
and-
them rich?
It can't be more blatant than when Jeff Bezos did that video address before he went up into space, where he thanked all the workers of Amazon for making this
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I'm sure
He
as they're
just said
pissing in
it.
bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
Literally,
that's
like
it.
they're at a point, like they
He
they
admitted
feel
it.
so untouchable that they can
Yeah.
just say it to your face. I couldn't go
Yeah.
into space if it wasn't for your fucking labor. Now get back to work, and here's your piss bottle.
Yep, no shit. There you go. My fucking God. So that's just a great thing there. So lovely. All right. Speaking of disappointments in the world,
For perpetual God, fantastic.
yeah.
Well
All
done.
right. So for the piss bottle of the Democratic Party, we have
Fuck.
who do we have today? AOC.
Right. So yeah,
Right.
AOC once again
AOCIA.
keeps
Yeah.
keeps sticking those fingers in that hornet's nest there.
Yep.
I
and,
think it's reaching a critical point. This we've had our skepticism of AOC. Obviously we've criticized her. And I think it's becoming more and more blatant and more obvious of who she really is. And she really is
Yeah.
just a 35-year-old Nancy Pelosi. She
Yes.
for
Yeah.
about 5 seconds, she seemed somewhat promising when she held those demonstrations in Pelosi's office.
Yep.
and bent the knee almost right away. And there's still people starry-eyed about her on other voices of the left. I mean, like, I listen to the Majority Report, Sam Cedar, every day.
Same.
They still defend her, and
I
it's
know.
honestly it's
What do
pretty.
they have?
It's
What do they
pretty
have, you know?
It's pretty embarrassing.
I think that they definitely like hit her on this a bit, but like, yeah, I mean, it's they are a little too
uncritical.
tied to this, like, oh, we
Right.
can
Yeah.
reform the Democratic Party by electing the right people into it,
I
and it's
know.
like, you know what, like, um, the whole like revolutionary parliamentarianism thing about Lenin telling us to use bourgeois elections and office, if you have it, to as a platform, as a way to bring the knowledge of socialism to the people. And it's like, well, yeah, and I know that we want that to happen in an independent socialist party, but like when AOC came in, she was literally just saying stuff like, I don't fucking care if I only have one term. I'm here to
Yep.
like fuck shit up and like, pull the curtain back. And it's like, okay, I mean, it'd be cool if she was doing that shit, but then
Yeah,
it was pretty
But they
quickly.
always say that kind of rhetoric, these kind of so-called left insurgents. The fact is, I don't think it was 5 seconds. I think it was never that she was promising. When you're a Democrat, that's
Yeah.
your class allegiance. That's your class position. Those are the politics you serve. That's what she decided upon. That's why it doesn't matter what she said, because she was already part of that machine. It doesn't matter if she had good intentions. The requirements of being a Democrat require you to at least to follow those politics. The fact is, her first thing she did when she was in office was vote to fund ICE. She has voted to fund the IDF multiple times.
Yeah.
She has supported a coup in Venezuela. And that's why Lenin is insistent it is not just a nice thing to have an independent party. An independent political party with a communist program is necessary if you're actually to engage in any form of electoral work worth a damn. And if you're actually in office, you're right, it's going to be socialist propaganda. But in all likelihood, you're probably going to vote against like 99% of legislation, especially if it contains anything to strengthen the bourgeois state and its repressive organs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we
You
see, so what happened this week was some kind of defense appropriations bill or something.
Marjorie
And-
Taylor Greene was doing
And
this.
so
I
Marjorie
think,
Taylor
right?
Greene introduced an amendment cutting
Yeah.
funding for the Iron Dome. And I believe the rest of the members of the so-called squad. Now, remember, the squad was never any sort of intentional thing. That was a
It was,
media
yeah.
invention. That was a media
Yes.
invention of vaguely progressive people getting into
Yeah.
power. They never coordinated or worked together on
Right.
on really anything. But as far
A
as I
few
know,
photo ops is about all it was. Yeah.
Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and somebody else voted
Ayanna Presley.
with
yeah.
voted with
Oh,
this
oh, with
Similarly
it. Oh.
too.
voted to cut the Iron Dome funding, and
Right.
AOC voted against it, but then
Right.
voted against the spending bill in the end. But still, that's what
Some kind of weird
everyone's
maneuvers.
got their panties in a tizzy, because she still voted to support Iron Dome. She still believes that Israel has a right to defend itself, in
Yeah.
spite of bullshit like this. This was 3 days ago. She wrote, "My record on Palestine speaks for itself. I'm proud of it. One of the strongest in Congress. I throw down for pro-Palestine candidates. Largely unrecognized work. That's fine.
Oh,
Disagreements are
oh.
fine too. But if you want to toss all that for one half-assed MTG stunt, be my guest. I know where I stand." So
Sure, we will.
In 2020, she voted to fund the
Shut
IDF.
I mean,
She's done it
yeah.
a few other times since then.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is one of the worst human beings to ever
Definitely.
sit in the hall
Yes.
of power.
Yeah, she's Barbie
The-
Nazi.
The,
Yeah.
the one thing that she is actually good on was cutting funding to the Iron Dome, and you
Yep.
you vote against it.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's, I
And
mean,
it's-
someone made. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, just like she's like they all do this, and like fine, you're in Congress, I don't care, but like she's worked with like Matt Gaetz on like something that seemed to be like a good cause, and it was like, oh, okay, like if you feel like you need to like work with terrible people sometimes to get something good done,
Right.
okay.
Do
But like,
it.
why is it
Right.
that this time it's like,
She
I'm
wanted
not
to
gonna
play
vote for-
politics. Right. She's playing
Yeah.
politics. That's the whole thing. Like, yeah, like, you know, I mean, all she had to do was just go, yeah, like, it's kind of like someone made the analogy of like, oh, I'm not like someone's committing, if someone was beating somebody up, you know, a wife, someone's beating up their wife. I didn't give him a gun, but I gave him a bulletproof vest so we can continue beating the shit out of like his,
Yeah.
like, that's what you just did. So congrats.
Yeah,
and
it's like-
$500 million. We have to cut Sesame Street to fund this shit. Okay.
It's also
That's
like,
good.
you know, oh, the Nazis are just using the anti-aircraft guns. That's the defensive
Right.
weapons.
Right.
It's
Thank
like, who
you.
the hell
Yep.
cares? It's like, this is an old debate going back to the Second International that, oh, we support defensive wars from our country, but offensive wars are bad. But in World War I, they all claimed to be defending themselves, so what it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't make
Right.
those distinctions are irrelevant. The
Yeah,
fact
dude,
is, if Israel can defend itself, that means it can more effectively murder Palestinians, and we don't want
Exactly.
to do
They
that.
can devote more resources to their own weaponry. Now, here's what the mind blowing part.
Yep.
AOC has not taken a dime from APAC. Same with Bernie
She's
Sanders.
done it for free. That's
She-
the
she's-
saddest
she's-
thing.
She got,
you're
she's
missing out,
she's
honey.
cheap.
You don't have
Yeah.
a paycheck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all you,
You
had to
want to
do.
be senator? Take that money. That's
There
what she
you go.
wants.
Yeah.
She's old
All right,
enough now to run for senator.
So
Yeah. I
when she,
just want to say our freaking War Department is called the Department of Defense. Like
Sure.
the whole goddamn thing. Like
$1 trillion defense bill.
Oh, God.
So this is from a few years ago as a headline. AOC apologizes for her present vote on Iron Dome funding. So by voting present, she's still basically voting to protect it.
You vote
Yeah.
no. You
And it's
vote
not-
no.
and it's
You
not
don't
an
do
error.
right. You just go no.
Sabby
You just go
Sabs
no.
points out this
Yeah.
is not an error. This is a career move. And here
Yeah.
it is. This
Yep.
is
Well, she-
Nathan J. Robinson. I know Doug's a fan of him, but still,
Fucking
this
hate
is-
him.
this is a great point.
Anti-communist pig.
I mean,
Doug, how
like,
do you
this
really
is-
feel?
This is AOC's website. We believe strongly in Israel's right to self-defense and have joined colleagues previously in affirming our shared commitment. All of us supporting strengthening the Iron Dome and other defense systems.
You sure?
It costs-
is that,
did.
is
costs-
that current?
It costs American taxpayers every missile that's fired from the Iron Dome. Do you know how much it costs?
It's like $1 million.
It's
That's
$200,000 for every shot that goes up into the air.
And that way, you saw how many were fucking going off too. We're paying for that, and
And
Israel
because
gets to
of
enjoy
that-
their single-payer healthcare system
and
that
they
we're
and
paying
they get
for.
to enjoy their universal health care and
Yep.
Yeah.
and all the fucking goodness of a civilized society.
Right.
Now
God.
here's here's Bernie and AOC. This is from Zay Squirrel. Zay Squirrel's definitely a pro follow on X if you're on X. Here's
What?
here's a
I
great
know. I
quote.
don't. Ugh.
I support the Iron Dome
Oh
to
boy.
protect Israeli civilians from missile and drone attacks.
So here's a headline that says Senator Bernie Sanders to support passage of Iron Dome funding bill in U.S. Senate.
I would say that the United States, our responsibility is to the stability and the security of the region. That means being able to support, not support, yes, Israel in its
Get it?
defensive capacities, right? In its ability, in that context.
Oh my God. Get a condenser mic, AOC. Making up money.
Wow.
Jesus.
That sounds like
Christ.
so much socialism right there.
There we go. Socialism's right around the corner.
This is like why we fucking pick on these people, because they're pretending to be socialists. They're
Right.
fucking imperialist pigs. And I don't want to be associated with them. I don't want them part of our movement. I want to cast them out because they're not part of it.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
You're,
and,
you're
and-
subsidizing a genocide. That's what they're attacking 5 different. There's a 5-front war. They're at war with like Yemen, Lebanon, Iran. Like they're just gonna go to war with fucking everybody, and we're like helping them like just
Yeah.
destroy the region too. It's not just Palestinians. They
Right.
bombed and killed 200. I mean, Israel bombed. It was an apartment complex in Tehran and killed like 80 civilians. I know like we don't think about these little things like them killing 80 people, but like imagine if any country bombed it. You're sitting in your apartment. Someone you don't like from the government is in the 8th floor and you're on the 3rd. You have no idea, and then boom, Israeli bomb goes off, and now your family's dead. You know, you were at work that time. Like those are the things that like Israel's
Yeah.
doing, and nothing fucking
Yeah.
happens.
Right. That's what I think people don't realize is that this is not going to fucking stop with Palestine. This is
No,
a
No, they're already
no.
annexing land in Syria.
Syria
Yeah,
right
this
now,
is a-
right now.
this is
Yeah,
an attack dog for the currently hegemonic empire. Like I think our influence is waning,
I think
but
so too. Yep.
it's like this is but it functions as its own state, and it's completely rogue because I made a TikTok today. I was like, it's muted. I think they didn't like it, but I was like, fucking like France is going like, oh, we're gonna recognize Palestine. Like, great timing, fucking assholes.
What? It
Like
took
when
you
there's
a
about to
while,
be
yeah.
no one in there.
There's
you
gonna be
fucking
no
piece
one
of
left.
shit.
Like,
Like, yeah, but I'm
80%.
like, right, because it's like I'm like, do something real already, you fucker. Like Ireland did this, and like, fine, like I like a lot of what Ireland's done,
Like,
but it's
send
like
a brigade of doctors and medicine and go through the blockade. Kick your way
Right.
through it. Like, shoot
Or
your way into it and start doing blockade. And
Yeah.
fucking go ahead and
Like,
stop
do-
us. Right.
yeah, take
that.
some action and be like, okay, do it, U.S.
Right.
and Israel, nuke the world. Is that what you
Right.
want? Is that what you're
Yep.
really gonna fucking do?
Yep.
Like,
So,
come
yeah.
on.
When yeah. Go
Squirrel
ahead.
makes a really interesting point here where they write Sanders and AOC are infinitely worse than people like Fetterman. Fetterman, who just openly comes out and says, yes, we want to kill millions. But they pretend they oppose it so they can be seen as the good ones, as they actually fully support it. I think that's a fantastic point. They're they're worse because they continue to draw in that energy, and that's why we need to be extremely skeptical and outright reject anyone working with the Democrat Party. And that includes new darlings like Mamdani. Yeah.
Right. It always ends up in the same spot. It's the same thing with the Popular Front. Whenever the liberals and the revolutionary socialists get in the same group, well, guess who's going to be leading it? And ultimately, they don't move to the left; they always move to the right. And AOC, even though, like, if I'm being generous, I feel like she had the best intentions. But as Benjamin Sisko once said, "The road to hell is paved with the best intentions." That's all it is.
She never had like this is my criticism of like TYT and shit too, where it's like you have no ideological rigor or like
No,
discipline.
they don't.
You have no
Right.
There's no,
like
there's
you
no
have a
program.
vague sense
It's
of
just-
like goodness, and
It's just
like,
it's just 2015, vibes
Yeah.
of,
Yes.
of
And the
vague
fact is,
progressivism.
good intentions don't overcome the power of these institutions. I don't care,
Right.
if these, if she can dance, or if she has like, she's charismatic, or if she has like some long activist history. You enter the Democratic Party, things are expected of you.
Right.
You expect
And
it
if
to act a
not, they're
certain
gonna.
way.
If not, they'll get. And like I said, then they'll get rid of you. And clearly, if she sucks
Yeah.
so bad, they didn't get rid of her, did they? They didn't gerrymander her out like Dennis Kucinich.
No.
They didn't put a
Right.
bunch of money up
But
against her. Yeah.
But there were all those times where like Nancy Pelosi would pull her aside and fucking intimidate her, like right out in the open.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's literally what happens, AOC.
Yep.
There you go. But to say something on Mamdani, you can see it in the way that the media, along with a lot of the Democratic Party, are pressuring him to denounce fucking, what is it, to globalize the Intifada.
Oh,
None of them
yeah, the
can say
chant.
it either.
Right,
They're like
yeah.
all these fucking people, every time they bring it up, they're like, he's got to stop saying the globalize the
He never even
the
said it.
Fatima the frittata, like
Yep.
but like
Globalize the enchilada. Yeah.
Enchilada. That was it. Okay.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
but like they pressure him on that. He finally relented a little bit. He was like, okay, I will do, because first of all, he's never been known to have said it at all, so it's
He
not
hasn't,
relevant. But
right.
he was finally like, okay, I will discourage people from using it, but I'm not going to like
you don't
police
give an
language.
inch. Don't give a
Right.
fucking inch.
The
dude.
fact is,
It's
like,
like
all
it's the Corbyn, it's the Corbyn method.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's what saying
Mamdani-
Jeremy Corbyn.
AOC, Sanders, it's all empty symbolism.
Right.
It really
Yeah.
is. And it's like it's like, when, to bring it back to history for a minute, when the Bolsheviks and Mensheviks ran their candidates for the Duma, the Mensheviks always emphasized personality, how charismatic and great someone was. The Bolsheviks emphasized class and program. And that's what we have to do. I don't care how nice Mamdani is. I don't care how charismatic AOC is. It doesn't matter. They're running they're part of an alien class, a class enemy, as part of their program, following it, not our program. They are on the other side fundamentally. It doesn't matter who they are as a person. That's the side they've chosen, and it's not our side. And we got to be
Yeah,
very clear
no-
on those questions for
Oh,
these
yeah, no,
people. That's why, so we
absolutely.
don't get fall for it again and again and again. That's why we study history, why we have these theories and this ideological rigor, so we don't get suckered.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm just saying, like, from the other end, like, what this is, you know, again, even if they think they're like doing the right thing, that's what they're up against, and they're gonna get like eaten by the sharks. Would you say, Doug, I'm curious what you think of this. Would it help to have, like, you know, our independent socialist party, but have like charismatic people who can, you know, weave these things
I mean,
publicly
sure, you
that
can
are
have
going to be,
charismatic people, but the point is to have, you know, are they actually on the right program? That's the point. The thing is, like, the number of people who get, like, oh, Sanders can give a nice stump speech, okay. But the fact is, he's a Zionist Democrat. So it's like, I don't
Yeah.
really care about the charisma at that point.
Right,
Obviously,
but I'm
you want someone who, you know, if you're doing agitation, yes, of course. But the point is what party and program they run on, what class they represent.
Yeah.
right.
I would
was
say
just
too,
like,
just
because it
if-
probably would help. It probably helped that Lenin was like who he was, right? Like,
Sure, but
he
he
was
he
yeah.
actually was not quite, you know, he carried more by force of argument than say a more flamboyant, charismatic speaker as like Trotsky was.
if
The
I
point
could,
is not to say that, you know, charisma is unimportant. The point is a lot of the bourgeois press and the social democrats do the same thing, is they harp on that. Oh, look at how charismatic Mandani is, or AOC, or whomever. It's to obscure the fact that they actually do not have a good program, that they have alien class interests. And frankly, they're not going to say that because they're the bourgeois press or the social democrats. We have to point that out. You know, and it's like why, like, when you see like a lot of the right wing say criticize AOC, oh, it's like they don't like her dress or her makeup or something,
Right,
which is
dumb shit.
stupid and superficial. Who the hell cares? It's irrelevant. It's just showing misogyny and something on their part. We care the fact that she's voting to fund genocide, that she's, you know, part of a bourgeois and imperialist party. That's what we care about, not what makeup or dress she wears.
right.
True.
I think too, if I could also like about like, you know, if they ran an independent socialist, small s socialist party, you know, if the program, if they just announced and they were running and they had like a good following, like, you know, say, I don't know, just say there's a good candidate out there, and you know, I'd join it with the goal of trying to reform the group party into something that would be better, and to get candidates who would run better. Because there's no reforming the none, zero, zilch, zero, none. You know, you do need reforms. Obviously, if people said like, you know, what are we gonna do? Like, you know, we're gonna go on strike. Well, seize the building you work at and take it over. It's like that's ultra left. It's cool, but like, no, you have to reform your way there to get to it. But you have to push it really hard, and the Democratic Party will not allow for that ever to, because it has to happen. You know, there's a push, and there's no push in them at all. They're gonna keep doing the dumb shit. They're going to say some things here and there, but in the end, you know, they're going to break the railway strike. They're going to fund Iron Dome. They're going to vote for Marco Rubio to be Secretary of State, the big anti-communist.
Jesus.
You know, like they're still going to do this shit, you know, and that's just it. Like you need that independent party. That's step one, as far as I'm concerned. Like you need to start there. There's no like being a part of the Democratic Party. If AOC was really sincere, she'd leave the Democrats and run as an independent. If she was sincere, that's it. If any of these people were actually sincere, I'm sorry, you know, but they ain't, are they? Nope.
Yeah.
So they ain't. I'm sorry. It's just bullshit. Or they're just incredibly naive, and that's all it is. So take either way. At the end of the day, you made your choice to stay. You know, that's all it is. Either whatever your motivation, not important because it's what you actually did. And voting voting to fund Iron Dome, and then making some bullshit excuse about it is this is just on par for her. So way to go. Way to fucking keep the genocide going, AOC. You're doing a great job.
You got bodied in the comments too, by the way.
Oh, good.
You're a genocidal coward. Fuck the Iron Dome.
Oh, Christian Smalls. All right. Hey, Christian Smalls. Okay, good.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
That was
see
Chris
that.
Smalls. Yeah. All right. Christian-
He's Chris Smalls is currently on a flotilla towards Gaza.
Oh,
By
really?
the way,
He's
I
on
don't know
that?
if you heard that. Yeah.
I'm happy and terrified for him, but okay. I mean,
I-
when are they going to eventually bomb one of these things already? You know what I mean?
Well, they did.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, again,
Uh,
the assassinated people. So like, yeah.
Yeah. I was, dude,
Well,
I was
if,
so.
okay, so let me just say, if France, if you want to redeem yourself, all right, and this we will give you the Left Opposition podcast endorsement. If you get Chris Smalls, break through the line, you fucking take a few shots, bought like a Normandy landing. If you help them out, France, we will endorse the country of France, Macron. You will give you the limited endorsement of the Left Opposition podcast. So whenever Chris Smalls gets, if he gets there, and you get it, and you blast your way in, you got our support. So there you go. All right, it's on you, Mr.
So,
Macron.
Last point I'll make on this: Caitlin Johnstone writes on Twitter, "I didn't give
That's the quote. Yep.
I
that was
didn't
also
give
it.
the mass shooter guns and ammunition. I just bought him a bulletproof vest so nobody could stop the massacre."
Yeah, that's what you did.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Way to go. There you go. I'll enjoy that bulletproof vest that we're paying for.
So,
Meanwhile, like we're gonna shut down the local library. Sorry about that, everybody, but we're gonna do that. So there you go. That's where your money's going.
Okay, so moving on, I think last topic of the night. Does anyone else have anything to say about AOC? I think we said enough.
Oh,
can
we
fuck
said
off.
There you
Let's
go.
make sure to vote for her. Just like totally turn.
All right, folks. Let's get some good news here. I know
Why are
we're
you
done with
attacking?
some
Why are
good
you attacking our only ally in Congress, guys?
Oh,
We
that's
don't
'cause
have
I'm
any
an ultra
ally.
left sectarian. That's why.
That's right. Yep. Oh my god.
I guess you just don't want to win.
Does
that's
the
right.
ACP like AOC? Does
I'm
the
afraid
ACP
of power.
No,
They don't. Oh, probably because she's a woman.
no, she was
that's really
she's
it.
a barista.
Oh,
That's-
okay.
no, she was a bar.
All right.
She's a
Bartender.
bartender. That's,
Well, she's
Yeah.
a Democrat, and they
Yeah.
want to tail the Republicans.
Oh, you're
That's-
right.
that's right,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I wonder
Gotta
if
keep
they-
these
okay,
things
so-
straight.
Let's move on to some good news. Is that Hulk Hogan died? I'm not a fan of wrestling.
I was a huge. Oh
I
god, I was
never
a teenager.
never into wrestling. So Chris, maybe you can
Hey.
you can walk us
okay.
through it.
I sure can. So, Hulk, if you were a kid, if you're a millennial, I'm an elder millennial. Doug is too. Joe, how old are you?
I'm 36.
I like how you took a pause. Okay, that's good. That's it.
Just
It's weird how
long drag of
it.
a cigarette.
Yeah,
36.
Bro,
36.
I'm
6
36
years
now.
ago.
My brain's not as fast as it used to be.
Okay, that's fine. No, I better do that when people ask my age. I'm like, should I? I'm
Alcohol
like-
has ruined my life.
Also, you kind of forget your age. But anyway, so if you grew up in late 80s, early 90s as a little kid, and up until Hulk Hogan was he made wrestling huge. It was him. He was the big star. He was the good guy. He had the American flag and shit. I mean, holy crap! You should watch his music video when he's fighting for Uncle Sam. He's fighting the Soviets. He's fighting the Iranians. Then the Iranian guy magically became an Iraqi guy. We didn't care. That's Colonel Mustafa. It didn't matter, But so he
Iron
was
Sheik.
just it. The Iron Sheik, and then he became Colonel Mustafa when he changed nationalities from Iraq to Iran because it's all the same. No one knew the difference. So yeah, he was the good guy. Like I said, right, he was in movies. He had movies made about him. And then, and that was as far as my childhood. Then he kind of came back to some more wrestling, whatever. But as I turned into an adult, there's a bad story. For those of us who are working class and proud of it and love our unions. And Jesse Ventura was going to do something. So the background really, it's only a 2-minute clip, but so Jesse Ventura, he made movies too. The first Predator movie, which is a great movie with Schwarzenegger. So he worked in the SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and he realized how they had benefits, rights, pays things, job protections, health benefits. Like, this is a good system. So when he went back to wrestling, he's like, I think we should probably form a union, because they would be working, 300 days a year on the road. The pay was crap. If you were too hurt to pay, there was no health benefits. You were thrown to it was a terrible. There's a lot of good documentaries out about how bad it was. Mr. McMahon is on Netflix. Watch about it. The working conditions were bad. So Jesse Ventura decided one day, and I think this is what the clips will take off here, but he was like, I think maybe we should start a union. So and I'll let this-
the way he tells it, it's fantastic.
And so I made this impassioned speech to the guys to stick together, and this was at about 1986, 87, right before Mania 2. I got home the next day, and Vince McMahon called me and read me the Riot Act and damn near fired me on the spot for talking about it. And I wanted to know who ratted me. And it didn't come out until I left wrestling, and I sued McMahon in federal court because I was on 98 videotapes and receiving no royalties, and I eventually won in federal court. I call it my wrestling retirement package now.
Wow.
But during the deposition, I told my attorney all about what had happened that day, and I told him, if you can get it out of McMahon, I'd like to find out who ratted me. And so my attorney was very good as he questioned Vince, because they can ask them anything. in a
Right. Yeah,
deposition.
and you can't lie on the road.
Right. And he asked Vince, he said, Mr. McMahon, he said, has there ever been a union in wrestling? And Vince replied, no. He said, has anyone ever tried to form one? And Vince kind of paused and said, yeah, I believe Jesse Ventura spouted his mouth off one time about it. And my attorney said, well, how do you know? Did you hear him? And he goes, no. But then with virtually no hesitation, my attorney said, then how did you know? And he said, Hulk Hogan told me.
And from that day forward, you never spoke to Hulk Hogan again? Did you ever confront him about it?
Nope.
Well, you're right. Wrestlers, do need, almost like NFL players.
I'll tell you what else they need, Howard. Here's something I can't believe. They talked today, I just got done with Fox Business News, and they're talking about all these corporations that are delinquent in their tax paying. Get this. There's one thing, if I'd have ran for the Senate, I would have started a senatorial investigation of wrestling over the fact they are not even employees.
Nope.
Why do
They're
you think
contract for hire. They're independent. Now, that's a lie. Vince tells them when they'll wrestle. He tells them who they'll wrestle. He tells them who wins and loses.
he's the boss man?
That's not, and you can't work for nobody else.
Right. Why do you think Hulk Hogan told on you? Do you think he just wanted to get close to Vince?
Well, no, because he was getting taken care of. The early WrestleManias, in my court case, I saw the documentation. He was getting paid more than all of us combined.
Wow.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Hulk
and let me-
Hogan's a scumbag.
Let me just also do that too. So more on that because I follow this closely. The other thing too is that what Hulk Hogan feared is that if we get a union, I'll have to get a bit of a pay cut, and my coworkers might make a little bit more money, and I can't have that. He's a greedy fucking pig. That's what he was.
Yeah.
He didn't want to share his overblown. Like this guy was getting movie deals, endorsements. Like he had more than enough money. And the fact that he might take a little bit of a pay cut so his coworkers can get health insurance, that's it too. And the other thing, like I said, this is a labor issue because they're quote unquote independent contractors. So in America, I know we have some people who are not in America in the chat, but so in America, if you were a quote independent contractor, now this was originally made for like architects, like very highly skilled, like highly paid professionals who go from job to job. Like obviously you're an architect,
Plumbers.
You're going to work for a few months. Yeah, right. It was made for them. You do that, you work some big job, and then you quit. So therefore you couldn't unionize because like, all right, you don't need the money, whatever. But what they started doing was that like when I was working at FedEx Ground where I worked, the guys who drive the trucks and sweat their ass off, who have to put a FedEx logo on their truck, work on a schedule that FedEx gives them, have to wear uniforms that FedEx makes them wear, has to do everything that FedEx Ground says. They're independent contract. They don't work for me. They're independent contractors. And that's how they get around. So you can't unionize in America if you're an independent contractor. So that's what Jesse Ventura was talking about. Independent contractors have no unionization rights. Now, it's just they've bended that law and watered it down to like Uber drivers are independent contractors. Like everybody, like that's how it's put down with low wage workers. So they can't unionize because a bunch of greedy fucking capitalists. So yeah, anyway, that's just I'm a bit impassioned about and fuck.
So,
Hulk Hogan for
Whoops,
that.
sorry. So yeah, this clip is probably like 20 years old, and
Yep.
even so, this clip here, it's a bit of a longer one, but it's still pretty fun to listen to.
Yeah.
To this day, so this was only a few months ago. To this day, he refuses to talk to Hulk Hogan.
If you start working with WWE again, would you consider burying the hatchet with Hulk Hogan?
Not now.
No,
No.
no,
Conversation, at least?
I don't know.
When was the last time you spoke to Hulk Hogan?
I don't know. He betrayed me.
Yep.
to an extent. Well, I'll tell you the story.
That's 30 years ago, right?
It's unforgivable.
Yeah.
He's still pissed
But
about it.
This
Did
was
that change the
prior to
distribution?
WrestleMania 2. We were all in a dressing room, and there was nobody from the office. I waited, and I got up on a chair, and I told everybody, now is our time to unionize. I said, all the publicity's gone out on WrestleMania. I said, if we refuse to wrestle, unless union negotiators are brought in, it's federal law. They have to be brought in. It's the law. And I said, and then if we can get the Charlotte guys to join us, we can freeze them, freeze Vince, and force them to do
That's a good
collective
strategy.
bargaining, and we can finally get a union.
No, he's the man.
And I gave my impassioned speech.
That's the competition. WCW. Yep.
The next day I go home, my phone rings. It's Vince. What the the union, da-da-da. I said, Vince, I fought him. I said, Vince, I'm not talking about just fighting you and that. I said, right now, this was 1980s. I said, right now, I pay $5,000 a year for health care for my family.
Mm-hmm.
If we had a union, I might only have to pay $1,250. You know, because there's strength in numbers.
Sure.
I said, what about all the guys I've seen that give 30 years to this business, and in the end, they ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of? If we had a union, maybe they could retire with $500 a month. Something.
Yeah.
I said, why? And you know what did it for me? I was in Las Vegas, and I got on an elevator. And you know who got on the elevator with me?
Who?
A great big offensive guard from the Oakland Raiders by the name of Gene Upshaw. Do you know who Gene Upshaw was?
Yeah.
Head of the NFL Players Association. I got on that elevator, and Gene Upshaw, I said, hi, Gene. Hey, Jesse, nice to meet you. Gene's big black finger went up in the air, and he goes, you boys need a union. And I said, I know. Gene Upshaw sparked me and said, you boys need a union. I said, I know we do. So I stood up. I gave my impassioned thing to unionize. Vince called me on the carpet the next day. I didn't care. I was going to do Predator. And then when I came back to Vince, I told Vince, you don't have to worry about me speaking out on union no more.
One of the greatest action movies ever made, by the way.
Yeah.
Predator. It's so good.
Okay. Oh my God. Yeah.
I gotta watch
like
that
Predator
again.
too.
Really?
That's
Why
fucking
not?
great.
I said, I got mine. Screen Actors Guild. I said, I now get health benefits, retirement. Right now, with the little shit that I did in Hollywood, I'm retired on over $50,000 a year from SAG.
Damn.
I get over $50,000 a year.
Still.
Right now.
Wow.
I'm collecting it. It's my retirement.
Wow.
And so when I came back to Vince, I said, you don't need to worry about me. If these dummies don't want to protect themselves, screw them. I tried. I said, I got my SAG card.
I kind of
Say
wish
it to the other wrestlers.
I think you should have pushed it a little more. At least
Yeah.
show that to the wrestlers. But still,
Yeah.
he's still pretty. That's Jesse Ventura. If he wasn't a 9/11 conspiracy nut
I
job,
know. He's good on some
he would
things, not
he would
I
actually
know.
be so
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think he's more single payer healthcare and stuff. He's got some good, he's pretty, like I said, he's not perfect, but I mean, he's it was a governor.
I
and
wish he
everything,
had run for president or senate.
It would have
Like,
been
that would be
interesting, at least.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
President.
Better than Warford
Mountain
jack
Dew
off we have
Camacho.
for the 2-part. Yeah. But like, I think like that's the whole thing. And like, I mean, eventually he went back on that and like tried to unionize them anyway, but it just shows you the union difference, those guys, I mean, because if you know about the industry, like I was really into it, like those guys, I mean, you have wrestlers, it was the Iron Sheik, speaking of him, he still had to do shows like in his late 60s, and he's a broken man. Like, this is a physical job. You can get paralyzed from this shit.
Yep.
And if you get hurt, then you have to go file the government forms, hire your own lawyer that you don't have. I mean, there's so many documents. These guys are still like, they can't stop working, and they're in their late 60s and 70s doing this shit. They can't stop.
Well,
Fucking
Diamond
Hogan.
Dallas Page, DDP, did the he's got like a yoga workout program.
Oh
Um,
shit! Oh,
yeah, like he like sort of combined a lot of different yoga and like Pilates techniques and stuff, and
Oh,
turned it into sort of a I forget what they call it, like isometrics or some shit, or like tension, like tensing and releasing, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Because his body was fucking broken after his long
Right.
career,
Yeah.
and he like became, you know, a super like healthy guy who works out and like. I used it myself for fibromyalgia. In 2018, I could barely get out of bed, and I did fucking Diamond Dallas Page's workout plan, and I like, you know, I ended up like regressing a little, but like I did so much better after that, and now obviously I like have a job and shit.
So we want to thank our sponsor, Diamond Dallas Page. Thank you once again. So if you too want to get as fit as Joe, who can now break a 2x4 over his leg and do the diamond and do the diamond buster, folks. Left Opposition Podcast / DDP. There you go, folks. So you heard it here first. We get 15% off your first offer.
Before we sign off, I have one last really funny Hulk Hogan story that I read.
Okay.
I read about it on crack.com, and this one involves Andre the Giant. So on their wrestling tour buses between shows, they're on the road. Andre the Giant would just sit there and drink can of beer after beer after beer after beer, and once he was done, he would just crunch it in his hand and throw it and hit Hulk Hogan in the back of the head. And we're talking cases of beer. And when he ran out of beer, the tour bus had to stop, and he made Hulk Hogan go inside and get him more beer.
You fucking...
Andre the Giant also starred in one of the greatest movies ever made, Princess Bride.
Yeah, a truly great movie.
And
yes,
probably by all accounts, probably a genuine sweetheart. I don't know. I
heard.
I'd like to think so. The fact
I
he's
heard.
picking,
Now, everyone said he was a nice guy. From what I heard,
the fact he's picking on Hulk Hogan just is fantastic.
How bad could he have been? You know, really.
So that's the only other. That's the only Hulk Hogan anecdote that I come armed with. Rest in piss, brother.
Yep.
Go to hell.
Yeah,
that's all I
know. Also, the Mayor McCheese to bring up too. We were talking about woke earlier. I don't know if we have time to cover. This has been kind of long, but you hear about the guy from Texas who went to Russia?
Some guy went to Russia to avoid
because he wanted to leave the woke. He wanted to leave the woke behind.
He's a woke refugee.
Yep, and he thought Russia was going to be that's it. And now he's probably gonna he's probably been drone struck by now. You know,
or like no, wasn't he put on the front lines? Like was he?
Yeah, he was put on the front lines, and like he doesn't understand Russian, doesn't speak Russian, doesn't know what the fuck to do. But that, like, I hate that Russia's like Russia. I know a lot of tankies and AOC people think that Russia's this really proto-socialist thing or whatever, but it's not. And he's probably dead now. You know, he's. Well, you know, there you go. And his wife and his 3 kids
play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, maybe don't sign up to join the military when you can't speak the language. In a reaction, like I'm sorry, but like, way to go, dummy. You know, good job on fighting the woke. So all right, you win, idiot. So all right,
it's a win-win. It's a win-win, really.
It does, idiot. My God, we're not fighting a people's war there, AFCP. So
okay, I think that's about does it for us tonight, folks. Thank you everyone for tuning in and listening.
Hell yeah.
This has been Left Opposition. Be sure to check out Joe, Radicalize Me on YouTube.
That's
Joe,
right.
Do you have any new videos? You working on anything new or?
Nothing earth shattering, but yeah, got like a video a week coming out.
Okay, nice.
Right on. Very good.
If you're a letter carrier, or you would like to hear stories about letter carriers, you can listen to the Next Gen podcast, where I am a co-host with my other 2 co-hosts. And we're going to be having a few interviews up about, there's been a string of armed robberies in Pittsburgh, and nothing's being done about it. We're still getting fucking beating the shit out of us, and someone brought a gun into a place to rob us. So, fun stories for being a letter carrier for bullshit wage. All right, so that's me. So thank you. And Doug, what do you got? Plug something.
Oh
yeah,
I got nothing to plug.
Denver Comedies have a show coming up. I would recommend.
Dialectics of Saturn. Check it out. It's a great book.
Okay,
that's
there
a
you
good
go.
one. Yeah, there you go. All right, everyone.